Hi there, boys and girls. Welcome to Storytime with Mr. Riddle. Today we're in Gavin's room, and this is Draco. He's our bearded dragon. Bearded dragons get about 2 feet, which is pretty big for a lizard, but they make great little pets. Again, you could probably look them up on the computer or on Mom and Dad's phone. You ready for a story? Today we're going to read Horton Hatches the Egg. Remember, this week would be letter E for elephant, and I bet you can find a couple of letter E's in this book. Can you find them? Egg. And there's 2 more. Right here and here. Little E's. Horton Hatches the Egg by Dr. Seuss. There's even little E for Seuss right there in the middle. You ready for the story? All right. I'll turn it so maybe we can see Draco a little bit. He might watch a little bit too. Sighed Maisie, a lazy bird hatching an egg. I'm tired and I'm bored. I've got kinks in my leg from just sitting here day after day. It's work and how I hate it. I'd much rather play. I'd take a vacation and fly off for a rest if I could find someone to stay on my nest. If I could find someone, I'd fly away free. There's Maisie Bird just sitting on the nest. Then Horton the elephant passed by her tree. Hello, called the lazy bird, smiling her best. You've nothing to do, and I do need a rest. Would you like to sit on my egg, in my nest? Do you think Horton the elephant would be good at sitting on that egg? The elephant laughed. Why, of all silly things, I haven't feathers, I haven't wings. Me on your egg? Why, that doesn't make sense. Your egg is so small, ma'am, and I'm so immense. Tut, tut, answered Maisie. I know you're not small, but I'm sure you can do it, no trouble at all. Just sit on it softly, you're gentle and kind. Come, be a good fellow. I know you won't mind. I can't, said the elephant. Please, begged the bird. I won't be gone long, sir. I give you my word. I'll hurry right back, while I'll never be missed. Very well, said the elephant. Since you insist, you want a vacation, go fly off and take it. I'll sit on your egg and I'll try not to break it. I'll stay and be faithful. I mean what I say. Toodaloo, sang out Maisie as she fluttered away. The first thing to do, murmured Horton. Let's see. First thing to do is prop up this tree and make it much stronger. That has to be done. Before I get on it, I must weigh a ton. Oh, sorry, I think I might have forgot to show you the page last time with Maisie flying away. Now Horton propping up the tree to make it much stronger. Then carefully, tenderly, gently he crept up the trunk to the nest where the little egg slept. Oh dear. Then Horton the elephant smiled. Now that's that. And he sat. He sat and he sat. He sat there all day. He kept that egg warm. He sat there at night. He sat there through a terrible storm. It poured and it lightened. It thundered, it rumbled. This isn't much fun, the poor elephant grumbled. I wish she'd come back, 'cause I'm cold and I'm wet. I hope that Maisie bird doesn't forget. But Maisie, by this time, was far beyond reach, enjoying the sunshine off in Palm Beach, having such fun, such wonderful rest. She decided she'd never go back to her nest. She's not going to go back. Oh dear, that's not good. So Horton kept sitting there day after day. Soon it was autumn. You remember that word. The leaves blew away, and then came winter and the snow and the sleet, and icicles hung from his trunk and his feet. But Horton kept sitting and said with a sneeze, I'll stay on this egg, and I won't let it freeze. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. It means 100 times out of 100, 100%, every time, an elephant's faithful. He's going to do what he said. So messed up. Poor Horton sat there the whole winter through, and it came springtime with troubles anew. His friends gathered round, and they shouted with glee, Look, Horton the elephant's up in the tree. They taunted, they teased him, they yelled, How absurd! Old Horton the elephant? Why, he thinks he's a bird! Is that nice taunting and teasing and laughing at Horton the elephant? No, I think not. We don't do that at school, do we? And we shouldn't do that at home either. They laughed and they laughed. Then they all ran away. Horton was lonely. He wanted to play. But he sat on the egg, and he continued to say, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. Out of 100, all 100 times, Horton's going to stay right there and do what he said. No matter what happens, this egg must be tended. But poor Horton's troubles were far, far from ended. For while Horton sat there, so faithful, so kind, 3 hunters came sneaking up, softly behind. Oh dear, what are they going to do? They see Horton the elephant up there in that tree. He heard the men's footsteps. He turned with a start. 3 rifles were aiming right for his heart. Did he run? No, he did not. Horton stayed on that nest. He held his head high, he threw out his chest, and he looked at the hunters, as much to say, Shoot if you must, but I won't run away. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. Oh, he's going to stay right there. He's not moving. Even though those hunters, they're going to get those guns pointed at poor Horton. But the men didn't shoot. Much to Horton's surprise, they dropped their 3 guns. Why, they stared with wide eyes. Look, they all shouted. Can such a thing be? An elephant sitting on top of a tree? Oh my goodness, they had never seen anything like that. It's strange. It's amazing. It's wonderful. It's new. Don't shoot him. We'll catch him. That's just what we'll do. Let's take him alive. Why, he's terribly funny. We'll sell him back at home to a circus for some money. Funny? Sell him for money? Dr. Seuss loves to rhyme. And the first thing he knew, they had built a wagon with ropes on the front for the pullers to drag on. Wagon, dragon. They dug up his tree and they put it inside. With Horton so sad, he practically cried. We're off, the men shouted, and off they all went, with Horton unhappy. Unhappy 100%. He's not happy about going. Oh, I hear the birds. Up out of the jungle, up in the sky, up over mountains, over 10,000 feet high. Then down the mountains, and down to the sea, with the cart, with the elephant, the egg, nest, and tree. Then out of the wagon, and onto the ship, out over the ocean, and ooh, what a trip! Rolling and tossing, splashing with the spray, Horton said day after day, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. Oh, but oh, I am seasick. 100%. He doesn't look very good, does he? The ocean makes the boat go up and down, up and down, up and down. Make him sick. After bobbing around for 2 weeks like a cork, they landed at last in the town of New York. All ashore, the men shouted, and down with a lurch went Horton the elephant, still up on his perch. Tied onto a board that could scarcely hold him, bump, Horton landed, and then the men sold him. Remember, they were selling him for money, because he's awfully funny. Sold to a circus, and week after week, they showed him to people for 10 cents a peek. They took him to Boston, to Kalamazoo, Chicago, Weehawken, and Washington too. Dayton, Ohio, St. Paul, Minnesota, Wichita, Kansas, to Drake, North Dakota. Everywhere thousands of folks flocked to see and laugh at the elephant up in the tree. Poor Horton grew sadder the farther he went, but he said as he sat there in the hot noisy tent, I meant what I said and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. There's everybody looking at Horton. What a sight. Would you pay 10 cents to see an elephant up in the tree? Then one day, the circus show happened to reach a town way down south, not so far from Palm Beach, and dawdling along way up high in the sky, who of all people should chance to fly by but that old good-for-nothing bird, that runaway Maisie, still on vacation and still just as lazy. That means not doing anything. And spying the flags and the tents just below, she sang out, "What fun! I think I'll go to the show." She swooped from the clouds and through the open tent door. "Good gracious!" gasped Maisie. "I've seen you before." Poor Horton looked up, his face white as chalk. He seemed to speak, but before he could talk, there rang out the noisiest, ear-splitting squeaks from the egg that he had sat on for 51 weeks. A thumping, a bumping, a wild, alive scratching. "My egg!" shouted Horton. "My egg! My egg! Why, it's hatching!" His egg's starting to crack open and hatch. "But it's mine!" screamed the bird when she heard the egg crack. The work was all done now. She wanted it back. "It's my egg," she sputtered. "You stole it from me. Get off my nest and get out of my tree." Poor Horton. He backed down with a sad, heavy heart. She doesn't want Horton anywhere near her egg, but remember, she left. She didn't even come back, did she? And she said she would. But at that very instant, the egg burst apart, and out of the pieces of red and white shell from that egg that he had sat on for so long and so well, Horton the elephant saw something whiz. It had ears and a tail and a trunk just like his. Look what it hatched out. And the people came shouting, "What's all this about?" They looked and they stared with their eyes popping out. Then they cheered and they cheered. They cheered more and more. They'd never seen anything like this before. "My goodness, my gracious," they shouted. "My word, it's something brand new. Why, it's an elephant bird." Elephant bird. Isn't that crazy? And it should be. It should be. It should be like that. Because Horton was faithful. He sat and he sat. He meant what he said, and he said what he meant. And they sent him home happy. 100%. Remember, Horton did all the work, didn't he? He sat on that egg for so long to hatch it out. The end. I hope you liked our story, Horton Hatches the Egg. We've read a lot of different Dr. Seuss books in our classroom. Remember, you can see what books you have at your house. Do you have any Dr. Seuss books at your house? All right, say goodbye to Draco. Well, he's just watching, isn't he? See you later. Bye-bye. You'll have to wait till tomorrow for the next book.